right. That right. We back. It's the last Thursday of the month, so you know what that is. It's time for Man in the Mirror Show. And we use the word the, Thee, because it's a personal journey.
That's right.
So tonight, we got another special show. My man is his month. The good old, before we even get into all that, first I got to throw it to my partner. We the best point guard and shooting guard tantrum in the business. So I got to go
Splash Brothers.
Yeah, but we better than them, and that we got to think that, right? So I got to pass the ball over to my shooting guard, the good Nate Jenkins.
Hey family, welcome back to another episode of Man in the Mirror. Of course, this talk show that matters.
Yeah, don't forget
the talk show that matters, baby.
That's right.
We're gonna talk about some real hot topics today. Kicking it back over to my point guard here, Mr. Boo Jones.
Well, we're gonna talk about some hot topics, but it's Nate's turn to burn, right? So he gonna tell us what the title. You know, we always have a topic title.
Yeah.
So we're gonna tell us what we're talking about today, and then we're gonna expand on that as usual, right?
All right.
So back to you.
Okay, so here it is, right? In our community, we got a few taboos, right? A few things we try to hide like it don't exist. One of them has always been mental health. The other one that really hits home for everybody is food insecurity.
Tell them what that is, Nate.
It's when you really don't know where the next meal gonna come from.
Yeah.
You know, hunger. I mean, people think hunger, you got to be like a little African baby in Africa with a big stomach and flies flying around you to really relate to being hungry. But how about I got 5 kids and the refrigerator just don't look as tight as it normally could. You dig? Yeah. Or I got short on cash this month and I'm not sure if I got 4 weeks of food money. I might just have 2, you know. So that's food insecurity, which is a part of being hungry. So one thing that happened in our community across the nation was it's always been taboo in the Black community to kind of talk about what's happening inside our house. Yeah. You know, what happened here, stay in here.
All that,
you know, all that type of thing, right? Which really kills us when we do that, right?
Yeah.
Because a closed mouth don't get fed. You can't get no help if you don't ask for nothing. You feel me? So then on that note, one of the best things I think came out of the pandemic was the fact that we had to rely on other folks for food. You had a lot of lines and people started going there because of the way the food was being non-distributed.
So before we even get started, we want to shout out to all those who are people.
Yeah, man, for real.
Practical food.
Yeah.
We want to shout out to you guys. And if you're listening or you know someone who's
1040-301-761-1040. Give us about 20 minutes before we start taking calls. We got some esteemed guests on the line right now. Me, myself, I work in that area as an advocate, right? I went through some intense training with this group at the Capital Area Food Bank, where I'm on the Client Leadership Council over there, right? And I believe we have on the line one of my esteemed colleagues. Actually, she's one of the people that really guided me through the process of being able to get out in the world and advocate for food insecurity. Because what y'all don't know is with this new Republican Congress, House, and new president, we're going to be insecure about a lot of things. And the last thing we need to be insecure about is the thing that sustains us every day, which is food. So
let's usher in.
Can we bring our guest on?
Hi, Nate. Sorry, there's a bit of a lag sometimes. That's just my Wi-Fi. Yeah. Hi, how are you guys?
We're doing very well, very well.
Great, glad to have you here on Man and D-Mirror show.
Thank you for having me on. It's
All right.
nice
So
to
Mira,
be able
I
to
was
come
just
and talk
okay. We
about
lost
this.
you. Okay, there you go. Yeah. So I was just telling everyone about what is food insecurity, right?
hmm
From my vantage point, it is just when you're not certain about where that next meal may come from. You're not
hmm
certain about what your storage of food looks like. You're not
hmm
certain how you're gonna feed yourself, your family, what that income may look like. So,
hmm
can you open up and tell us a little bit about what you are, what you do, some of the programs, a little bit about the Client Leadership Council that we're a part of, and just your whole plight in regards to food insecurity.
And give us a short bio.
Yeah.
For sure. So, my
Get
name
back
is
the
Mira.
audio.
There you
You can't hear me so well. Ooh, what about now?
Yeah,
Can you
we're in
hear me
there.
a little
You're in there.
better?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So my name is Mira, and
Yeah,
I
we're good.
am the neighbor and community organizer at the Capital Area Food Bank. So that basically means I help kind of do a lot of the day-to-day for the Client Leadership Council. And it's been a great initiative to really just teach people better how to kind of empower members of their community and get involved in advocacy and kind of spread awareness about food insecurity and also resources around it, places that people can get help. How many people that we see that usually just kind of struggle to even ask for help in the first place? I think part of it is also not knowing where to go, what options they have. Um, so I feel like it's been a great process for us to be able to see members and clients really use their lived experience and kind of share how impactful it is and how it affects every day going through food insecurity, and kind of just how this needs to be at the forefront of our minds, how this is affecting kids, elders, so many different communities. And I think I really like the point that you said, Nate, where there's no idea or image of what food insecurity looks like. Like, it can be anybody in any kind of situation. It can be college students, it can be parents, it can be individuals, it can be so many different groups. And I think that is also a big part of the Client Leadership Council that for me I had to learn, where there's no one solution fits the issue. Everybody needs different resources, cultural foods accessible. It is a very complex and layered issue, but I think it's on us to try to see it from different perspectives.
Excellent.
That was
So
wonderful.
thank you, Mira. So Mira, tell us a little bit about you as an individual and how you got involved in working in this field.
So for me, I had worked in the nonprofit space in DC. I was in Boston before this, but worked in nonprofits for a couple of years. So I was working as a case manager, and I had worked with youth, DV survivors at a safe house here. And then after that, I worked as a case manager for the homeless in Columbia Heights. So I think part of that was being a breakfast program manager and also running a pantry for the people in this neighborhood. And I think with that, I got to see a lot of kind of just how widespread the issue is. And just because people, quote unquote, say that COVID is over doesn't mean that people need resources any less. They almost need it more right now, especially with all the after effects that we're dealing with. So I think for me, seeing all that in my, even for me living in this neighborhood and seeing just how deep it runs, I felt like it was important to get involved at a bigger scale. And for me, it was really just being able to hear people's stories more and see how they can use the power of their lived experience and their just emotions, their feelings, their experiences to create real change and show people that this is something that needs to be dealt with right now.
Well, thank you, Mira. So could you kind of, okay, so for me, when I got introduced to the opportunity, I had a vague sense of what the capital area food bank does as an overall operation, right? I thought initially that people just walk in like a cash bank, right?
I hear
Walk in,
you.
get some food, walk back out, right? That's what the name kind of.
Of
Can
course,
you give
yeah. I
us
feel like
a kind of a rundown of how you guys operate and
Name and term.
and help throughout the community?
so. I feel like when you go to the capital area food bank, like the there is the office space that we have, but also when you go to the warehouse, it almost looks like you're walking into Costco. It's like aisles of food, and a lot of how the distribution works is through our partner networks in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. But I think I am not even doing justice to kind of all the programs that exist because I think even for me, I'm still learning what that looks like. But there's programs for seniors and mobile markets that kind of drive around to people's neighborhoods to make it a little bit more easier to access. There's programs at different schools so that parents can pick up meals after they're picking up their kids from school. But I think really a lot of the uh, manpower goes to the churches, the social service organizations, the different food pantries that multiple people are running throughout the DMV area that are really helping put that food out there to the people that need it at the end of the day. So we do like the bigger distribution to them.
Before we go any further, because I don't know viewers may. Huh? Let's see. Is that on her end or our end?
It's on her end.
Is our end?
Her end,
Okay.
her end.
No, it's
It's
our
our
end.
end.
So let's try to see if we can get that.
That's the internet is working out something. They have an
That's the
issue.
best. Okay. All right.
So Mira, I know that you just gave us like a 30,000 foot explanation, right? So I
Mhm.
just want to, give a shout out to those organizations or distribution partners of the food bank. So basically, my understanding is you guys are the resource for the resources, right? To
Yes,
put it kind of in
very
layman
much so.
terms, because
Yes.
experience, you guys are actual warehousing
I
operation.
get it.
Right.
And let me
Yes.
ask you this, because I seen this type of thing before, but never on that scale, right? But so these resources, they had to have vouchers or something to come to you guys to get
No,
the good. I'm
No.
talking about the clients.
no.
They can just come in. They don't have to
So
go through
so
nothing.
so basically the way it looks, and you could correct me if I'm incorrect, Amira. So the food bank is really like a bank, like when you deposit cash into it. So the providers like farmers, corporations, government entities that have surplus food or contracts to bring in certain types of food, they bring it to the food bank
I
itself.
understand that part. I'm
right?
talking
But-
about how to extract it to,
Yeah,
to the person.
So they do it through partnerships like Catholic
I got you.
Charities and all
That's
that.
what I'm talking about. With Catholic Charity, have to send someone over with a voucher.
No.
Or some kind of
No.
thing to say they can get the food.
They come over, identify who they are, and they get.
Yeah, but they would have to go to be referred, right? When they have to
No.
have some kind of referral, or
No,
they
they-
can't just walk off the
No.
street.
It's a partnership. They like have like similar like a contract type
Right.
scenario.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So like
Yeah.
the Catholic Charity will
So
send
the
you
capital
these
area
information.
food bank
No,
doesn't
no, no,
pass out
Come-
food.
Catholic Charity themselves.
Catholic Charity goes to the food bank.
Right. The organization
And then-
comes get the food
And then they distribute.
and they distribute it
Okay,
out.
I
Yeah,
get
so
it.
that's what you mean by distribution partner.
Right. Okay, I get
Right.
it. I get it.
So, but which I'm glad you said that, because my thinking was the same. Like it's a place where individuals go, no, it is the hub,
Yeah.
for lack of a better term. So it's the hub for food distribution in
I
DC
get- I
metro
get it.
area.
That's
Yeah.
great. That's
Yeah.
great.
But
You're
when
the
I was
the
there,
warehouse
yeah.
per se.
but when I was there, they were very open to adding other entities. They still look for partners to distribute.
Right.
Like we got a friend in common in our other walk. His mother runs charitable organization over in the Keller Miller area of the
My old
Northeast,
neighborhood,
right?
man,
Over
yeah.
now they Helen 49th,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But they didn't have a big food pantry over there. So when I brought that to the attention of the food bank, they started a relationship with her organization so she can be a distributing partner in that part of the city. So it's not closed in, they're very open, and just want to let everybody out there understand that the food that you get from your churches, from these nonprofits and things of that nature, a good portion of it comes through the food bank itself.
Let me ask you
Yeah.
this. Is there any cause for these organizations to get stuff from the food bank?
I don't know if she heard you, but I can answer it.
I did. I wasn't sure
There's
if
no
you were going to
cost.
answer it. No, I
No
heard
cost
you.
at all.
So
We couldn't hear
it's-
you, that's all.
I think for the food bank, they've built this relation. They're like very heavily connected with kind of Feeding America. And that's kind of the bigger hub that helps provide resources to food banks all over the US. So through these contracts and through these relationships over the years, I think they've built a really big network of donations that they've been able to secure. And they have a surplus that they've been able to use to sustain so many different other partners to pass out their food through. So it just seems easier when new people do want to start pantries, or if they have programs already set up. I think it's a lot easier if they're looking for other sources where they can get food. It's always an option to look at the food bank and see if they are capable of supporting that program in that area right now. And just being able to help provide enough food for a lot of the food banks that are seeing more people than what they can naturally provide for in the first place.
Now, we have kind of layers of input coming into the food bank, right? And one of them are, local farmers, right? So if you have local farmers, you're thinking like, I know I was thinking like, okay, they're only gonna grow enough to sell, right? You know what I mean? But what ends up happening is they may have a relationship with the food bank where they say a certain percentage of my crop will go to the food bank.
I get it. I know I've been working in the recovery field for a good amount of time, right? I know definitely they can use that, just kind of stuff.
You know who used to use the food bank?
Who was that?
The dude down Green Valley that used to have a little
Okay.
Mr. Robinson.
Yeah, Robinson.
Yeah, he was a partner. Like
John
that.
Robinson.
John Robinson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to John Robinson. May his soul rest in peace. But he helped a lot of people.
He was a distributing partner like that.
Yeah.
So where he would get a lot of that stock that he had would come from places like the Capital Area.
And he definitely did what he's supposed to do with it.
Yeah, he did. He did
Yeah,
at no cost. Fed Green Valley for years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And housed in that little space.
Yeah.
He housed a lot of people.
Yeah.
I actually spent the night there before.
yeah. But for me, one of the biggest things that Mira and her group did for me as an individual with the Client Leadership Council was to learn how to take my life story and channel it into the portion of it that was about food insecurity, then tell that life story to others to get them involved, to empower them not only to get in and get the services, but empower others to be donors.
To be also partners.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, to tell their life story to empower someone else.
But then also from a corporate level, talking to a room full of government and corporate officials, have them say, "Oh, okay, well, we got some extra money, or we got some tax deductible income. We can point it to the DC Capital Area Food Bank. Like this time of year, I know in DC government, we're under the one fund type of year, right? So this is the giving time where you can set up at the end of the year if you want to put so much money into UNICEF
Right,
or
right.
this cause or that cause. I know that the Capital Area
So they
Food
get
Bank,
funded again.
yeah, is listed under that DC1 fund.
Okay.
So people can give out of their check a couple dollars a year.
See, that's what we do here. We give information
Yeah.
that can empower people to not just be a recipient, but also to learn how.
Because believe it or not, the beauty is in giving.
That's a gift is in a gift.
Man, look, I've seen the results of the food bank.
Yeah.
In my own home,
Yeah.
growing up,
Mhm.
as an adult.
Well, I was saving that
All of
story.
that.
I won't say that story for like the finale, right?
Mhm.
'Cause I definitely identify with what you call it? Being
Food insecure.
yeah.
Yeah, man. And you know what? The
Been there.
thing about food insecurity is it is such a daily happening
Yeah.
that for me, I've seen food insecurity be just momentarily.
Yeah, just
Right?
Yeah.
It could be a situation where just for today,
Right.
I'm not sure about that meal. You know, a lot of people think that hunger is tied to poverty, but it's really situational a lot of times, right? So,
But like you said, even if it's just for the day, that's enough.
yeah,
You got to worry about where your next meal gonna come from. Some can't fathom them, but we get to the core of it because we talking about it, but we
Mhm.
get to the core of it, Nate. You know that man, that's what we gotta do, man. We gotta pull the stinger out
yeah.
because in this country, it should no.
Well,
And
you
I know
know,
with mental health,
we can say
sometimes-
that. We can say
sometimes
that.
I'm talking about. I'm
Yeah,
talking
we
about
can
as a
say that.
country.
No, I'm
right?
saying we can say that.
But I know mental health is one of the main issues of why some stay in that state for longer than they should.
But
You
that
know?
food insecurity for me, and what I've learned at the Client Leadership Council with Mira and her cohorts, is that, and through the lived experience of the groups that I've been a part of, is that food insecurity touches every social ilk and ill, right? So when you go criminality, let's just start right there. If I'm hungry, everybody is a victim.
Unemployment.
Unemployment. If I'm unemployed, I don't know where I'm not. Everybody's a victim. You know what I mean?
Homeless.
Homelessness,
Yeah.
addiction,
Mental health.
Abuse,
Abuse. Trauma. All that's trauma.
all of it is tied. But you know what? One of the biggest, for me, one of the biggest helps is that there is help in regards to food. Because you heard them belly full, but they're hungry.
Yeah.
A hungry man is what? An angry man.
So like when I was saying about the mental health aspect of it, you touched on a whole variety of it. But the mental health aspect of it, and you was like, just now you was talking about how you could not, touch on it because of your life experience, right? But what I'm saying, just to make a point, is that if I have a mental health situation going on with me, right, you can offer me the help. You can feed me for the day, but I'll never get out of that
rut.
Out of that rut because just like where I work at, right?
Mhm.
We got people all up and down the area right where we at. They won't come in. They won't come in and get the services.
But here's the thing on this. Here's the thing about Capital Area Food Bank and security, right? Like Boo, we can lead them to the water. We can't make them drink.
Yeah.
But we want to make sure some water there when they get there.
Oh, I get it.
So to me, that's kind of like what folks do in the whole food bank, food servicing community. I want to give a shout out to some of the major corporations around, like some of the major grocery stores around here. They don't just give away, the old food. Because some people think, oh, they just giving away old food. No, They give away
Prime fruit.
excess stock.
Right.
You know what I mean? You got places like Catholic Charities that are involved in a lot of different nonprofits feed off of them. They have their own partner network. So it's kind of like a spider web type scenario.
I get it.
You know? So Mira, I know that you haven't been there all that long, but how fulfilling is it for you to know that you are an angel to someone's malady in regards to their hunger?
I appreciate how much you hyped me up, Nate. I think it's definitely been quite exciting to just see people get some more confidence when they're telling their stories. And I think for me, it's just really been a learning process, learning about each and every one of you. I think you're such unique and talented individuals. And I think, like, one thing I did want to mention is kind of how you said, like, oh, all these different plights can affect kind of food insecurity and how they go hand in hand. And I want to say, like, even for like all the members of our CLC that do have some sort of lived experience with food insecurity, the majority of the members are working regularly. I think, like I said earlier, like, you can be working regularly, have a stable job, and still not be making enough to cover the cost of just inflation nowadays and how much groceries are coming out to for a lot of families. I think quite often to feed children regularly, healthy, nutritious meals, it requires going to a food pantry and being able to supplement your daily groceries with other options. So I think for me, it's really just been learning a lot more about resources that I can refer other members to as well. But learning about each and every one of you and kind of how food insecurity has affected you, but how you haven't let it stop you. And how this has kind of almost been part of the driving force for you to want to make bigger change in the world and really just kind of make sure that other people are better supported and know about what networks they have access to and what resources they can lean on, especially when things get rough.
Well, I know Nate can. We talking about the liver experience. What's her name again?
Mira.
Mirror. Sorry, I'm a short-term memory loss. Well,
It's all good.
I know, from being one that had some trying times, right? Me and Nate, we've been friends for a while, so we kind of like know each other's flight.
Mhm.
And so I seen my mom and other family members and friends of the family. I seen them pull miracles with the management of the
Mhm.
food. Like me and my little brother, we still joke about um at the end of the month, my mother would make this big pot of stuff. This before microwave. She would make
Mhm.
this big pot of stuff with macaroni and tomato paste or sauce or whatever,
All creativity
onions,
comes
Like a
out.
do
yeah, and sometimes the meat would be chicken wings. The next time it'll be some was ham hocks or neck bones. And first of all, we never want to see that meal again. Let me get that out of the way. We never want to see that meal again because we would eat that for about 2 weeks.
Yeah, man.
She would freeze it, take it out,
Throw it out, throw
Throw
something
it
else
out.
in it.
Oh, now it'd be still it.
Yeah.
It'd be for 2 weeks almost. Like
We
at
used to
the
do that
end
with
of the
beans, man.
but at the end of the month, this was the survival move.
Yeah.
And
But that's food insecurity.
yeah. And so me and my brother, we don't never want to eat that meal again. But we joke about it now. But some of those times was kind of like the strength building times. You know, like we're not saying that I wish that on anyone or any struggles when it comes to overcome that area, whatever it is.
Mhm.
And then they'll be able to reach back and tell somebody it's possible.
Yeah.
That's why I think I love what Nate said about that it's not just
Yeah.
that you could be one of these people at the pantry, and not have that food insecurity.
Mhm.
But those managements of my mom and those people I mentioned, they kind of teach you, and even though you don't know it when you're a kid, but when I grow up, I know how to manage the food a little bit better.
Well, I want to interject. That's a good point because we are struggle buddies, right? African Americans have been struggle buddies for a long time. It's part of our culture. But here's the
That's
thing.
a new name, struggle buddies.
Struggle buddies. So here's the thing I want to just bring to folks' attention. For those of you who lived through the 70s, early 80s, you hear the words food insecurity. That's a new term for most of us. And we think hunger means starvation. It's not. They're not one and the same. They're two different words. So for me, food insecurity started with colored money, right?
Talking about the stamp.
You had them stamped. The purple one was sudden, the green one was $5. The purple one
they went together.
20.
With food insecurity.
But if you were dependent on the government to give you a stack of coupons, you're not secure about where your food's coming from.
Exactly.
That's a grand representation of food insecurity. If you are walking around right now with an EBT card in your wallet, you are experiencing.
Okay.
You are experiencing food insecurity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And like
it
she
ain't
said,
hunger.
And like what she said too. So we understand what food insecurity is, but that definition that they just explained. But to piggyback on what she said is a good time to say it, right? It happens to people who have normal jobs.
Everyday life.
It don't have to be the people with the card.
No, I'm just saying that's a grand representation for those who don't think it exists.
Right.
Right. So here's another one. If your child's school provides free lunch, which most schools do,
another form,
right? And you don't have to wake up and depend on that lunch because you may be in the realm of food insecurity, right?
Well, you have to be at a certain level of income to even qualify.
Well, not anymore.
Not no more.
Oh,
so you say
they got a
anybody
thing called CEP now. It's a federal program that particular areas, schools actually, like my daughters go. Now I got a daughter that go to Duke Ellington, very prestigious school in Georgetown. They are a CEP school. That program says that everyone there has to eat for free.
Okay.
The whole school gets free lunch, whether they want it or not.
Well, you think about a school like Duke Ellington, right?
But you would think they didn't need it.
No. That's a different. What they say, a different circumstance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they can afford to give everybody free.
No, but see, here's the thing: the majority of the students come from food insecure backgrounds or homes or areas because they service the entire city. Right.
I get it.
Yeah.
Because some of the people, they don't have to be financially secure to go to that school. You got to be talented.
You got to be talented.
Yeah.
Now, most DC public schools are in CEP.
Okay.
Because they rate the DMV as a place where fairly funded school meals are something that they should be getting.
Normal.
But you go right out to Montgomery County and they still fighting about it.
Right.
Right. You look at federal government benefits like
what about Fairfax?
Same. So for like Mira and I, we hear I know I hear this SNAP benefit piece a lot, right?
Well,
and a lot of people don't know what SNAP benefits are.
Let me explain one thing I heard Mira say, and then you explain what that is. You said DV, that's domestic violence, right? For the people that didn't know. She said DV in one of her statements.
Yeah, she did.
That's domestic violence, right? Okay,
it is.
Make that clear for the viewers. Nate, what are you talking about?
So SNAP is a food program, a federally funded food program for those who need assistance, mostly our seniors, handicapped individuals, people on some type of public assistance. SNAP is a federally funded program that determines, how much the government's going to contribute to your food income on a monthly basis. unfortunately for most who receive SNAP benefit, they're always being challenged and cut. It seems like whenever there's a money crunch in the government, they go straight to the poor people to suffer first. They'll give the Defense Department trillions and trillions of dollars, but then cut the SNAP benefits. You know what the average SNAP monthly benefit is now? Correct me if I'm wrong, Mira, but monthly, they're giving folks $25 today.
Mhm.
Dude, what can you buy for $25 that's gonna last you a whole month? 5 cans of Spam?
Yeah, that's this is like make bricks without straw.
Yeah.
And one tally should not be diminished.
Okay, but check this out. They don't want to increase it. They fight not to
Oh, I
increase
get
it,
it. I get
but
it.
they love to decrease it.
Right.
You know, and it's almost like people are a throwaway. You know what I mean? But in our zest and our zeal for a better circumstances, we don't always do the proper due diligence or investigation for those who make those decisions about our lives,
Right.
like our government officials. We don't investigate them. We listen to a few commercials, a few hot takes. They say some slick stuff, and we vote for them.
Right.
That be the same person that just said SNAP benefits need to be cut $5.
Right.
You know, but they said that before they got voted in. But we ain't hear that. We heard that slick little saying that they said, the rhyme and the reason, because we don't do a lot of due diligence. But I think that with places like the Client Leadership Council, where we have people from different walks of life advocating,
Right.
locally, federally, state, people with lived experiences actually going up to the mic and saying, look, I lived through this. You ain't got to read about it. I'm here to tell you about it. And Mira's group does a hell of a job preparing us to get out there and advocate, not just for ourselves, but for folks of these hunger type causes. Right? I know for me, I've been doing public speaking for a long time, right? But for me to look on my life story and then learn how to tell it such a way that I was invited to be a keynote speaker at a major hunger event blew me away. Blew me away. Now I'm talking about the senior hunger convention. Keynote speaker, not just the side guy, not the opening joint, but the keynote speaker.
That's great. Sid.
That's
You're talking about.
Yeah,
talking
but
about
that
God's
wouldn't have
will.
happened had I not been involved with the Capital Area Food Bank.
Well, that wouldn't happen if God didn't help turn your life around.
Yeah. But they prepared me in such a way that I want to give kudos to Mira, her team, everybody over at the Capital Area Food Bank, because not only are they the repository for all this food, they're also teaching people to go out and invest in their communities so that repository can grow.
Right.
Not in just donation, but in policy and practice.
Hey, Mira, so I have a friend that I want to connect you to if you're not already connected to. Is Mr. Gary Clark. Peace rally. For if you guys are not connected to him, I'm definitely, before this show out, I want to give a shout out to him because like me and Nate was saying, we also struggle buddies or whatever he was saying.
Struggle buddies, yeah.
Yeah, but God gave us similar gifts, and one of them is speaking. And I speak at his food drive every year. He does a food drive, so he feed the homeless. The last one he did that I was a part of, he gave a special award to Eleanor Holmes Norton, and he honored me also in that same pep rally. And I want to give a shout out to them because if they're not connected to you, that's what we need to do. We need to get all these entities connected, you know.
It's so much work out there to be done. So Mira, you What cohort are you in? The fourth cohort now with the CLC?
So now we're in the fifth cohort, actually. So we have 22 people a
Now,
part of this new class, all bright-eyed and fresh-faced, ready to kind of start their advocacy journey. So it's very exciting to kind of see how they grow and learn through this process.
so can you tell us a little bit about the CLC process? You know, how do you get the individuals? What do you do with them? And then how do you release them out into the world?
So
First, what is CLC for the viewers?
Yeah. What
yes,
is
so
CLC?
CLC stands for Client Leadership Council. So it's a advocacy training program that we have here at the Capital Area Food Bank. It's a 10-month program, so people apply during the summertime. We usually have an application that goes out late June or July and ends before September. So people apply, we go through a round of interviews, and then we let people know whether or not they've made it to the join us as a part of the cohort. And it is kind of seeing how this cohort is smaller than the previous one, but it's kind of seeing how they want to share their story, and that looks different for different people. For some people, they want to do media interviews and like those kinds of opportunities a lot more, giving like interviews to news channels, ABC, things like that. But I think for some people, it's like what you and Nate were talking about, talking to policymakers, people in the community, advocating for better resources and for change that you want to see. Like just better access or better minimums for being able to access SNAP benefits, things like that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, we
So-
do two, or we got to disconnect? Okay, so guess what, Mira? We have
Mhm.
another cohort number 4 member. Tamika going to join us. You want to bring her in?
Hi, Tamika.
Hey, Tamika.
Oh, yeah.
Hi,
How
everybody.
you doing? Welcome to Steve.
Thank you.
So let me give you a grand introduction here. Miss Tamika is one of my Client Leadership Council members who went through cohort number 4 with me, and now she is a full-blown hunger advocate out there speaking in various places. So she's done some recent advocacy work. She and I just had an opportunity to speak back with the next class.
Hold on, let me. We address the elephant in the room too. Hold on. Why haven't I heard about none of this today?
I do a lot.
But you already know what type of stuff I love to do,
Right.
and you never told me nothing about it.
I told you. Anyway. So we got to about who you are, how you got involved in food advocacy. Give us some of your background in food insecurity, and then we're gonna just open it up to a general conversation. And thanks for joining.
Thank you for the invite. I got involved because actually it came to my church. Someone from my church had a paper about it, and I was like, that sounds, like something that I would be interested in, being one that has struggled all of my life with food insecurities, having to depend on the government for food. Like you always talk about the colored money. I remember the colored money and the book you had to carry around. So when I filled out the application, I just was being truthful at the time of how I felt and where I was, and by the grace of God, they chose me. And ever since then, that my advocacy work has picked up. I never would have imagined that I would be where I am today if I hadn't joined the Capital Area Food Bank Leadership Council, because I didn't realize that I had, even though I knew my story, I didn't realize that I had the confidence to tell my story. And it was okay to have a story. And it was people out there like me that had a story, and you didn't have to be embarrassed by your story.
Oh, the confidence to tell it. Okay. Hold on, Mika. That's me.
Yeah, Tamika.
Tamika. Yeah,
Did
hold
we
on.
lose you, Tamika? We having a few difficulties here, but we're trying to work them out as we go.
Yeah, it's live. This is live. So
It's live, it's not Memorex, so we can't do a 5 minute second break or anything like that.
We keep it
You know,
moving.
it's not like one of those award ceremonies that we come on 15 minutes after it's been taped.
Yeah,
You know, this live.
Yeah,
Ain't
then they can do
Memorex.
the editing and all
Yeah.
that. No
But
editing.
I'll go back and say that when I met Tamika at Capital Area Food Bank, she had, we shared a lot of group sessions together and stuff like that. And she had some situation with her health wise that she's been with all her life. She'll explain a little bit more. I don't want to tell her life story, but she is one of those people that when you meet her, when you see her, you might have one inclination of what you might think about her power. But when you
I don't
when you
have no
talk
sound.
to
I can't
Tamika
hear.
and see Tamika, and her strength just kind of radiates.
Oh, we can hear
We
you,
hear
Tamika.
you.
So it's kind of loud now. Whatever you got on the background, turn it off, please.
We can hear your TV in the background, Tamika.
Tamika, can you hear us? You can't hear us.
The audio is down. She'll come back. She'll come
I
back.
heard a
But Mira, I
commercial
think
and
you can attest to what I was just saying about Tamika. When I first saw her, I thought she'd be real meek, right? And boy, she's a
I
powerhouse when she gets going.
She does. I do
But
want to
you know,
definitely say that
most of us.
I feel like Tamika really, so she was one of our graduation speakers. She really shined in our fourth cohort, and I think she really spoke up for a lot of different populations that go through food insecurity but may not always have the opportunity to talk about that. She has kids and she has seen this struggle for a long time, so she understands just as much what it's looked like, how it's changed over the years, and she has really taken it head on to kind of approach the issue of fighting food insecurity and just making sure that people in the community know what they have access to.
You know, I was gonna say before you said that, and most people like myself, maybe or Tamika, who had that lived experience, most of us is more like they told me one time, more because like she just found it, and I bet she can contest it. We get to hear more from Mika that she probably can talk about how passionate is she about it because of her lived experience.
Yeah. She's very, very passionate. Tamika, can you hear us now?
Yes. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay,
Okay,
great.
now I can hear you.
We were just giving you a little flowers while you were gone, talking about how passionate you are and how you were a great speaker.
I was Mika. I was saying I'm Boo Jones, by the way.
Nice to meet
I
you.
was saying that I know that you're probably passionate about it because of your lived experience, and you know, because I can relate to that. You know, a lot of areas that God has me in is because I'm very passionate about it because of my lived experience.
Yes,
Do
because
you agree?
yes, I agree. Because I was born with a disability, I guess that's where the passion comes from.
So Tamika, tell us a little bit about you had started talking about yourself, but it kind of cut out on it. So tell us a little bit about your situations and where food insecurity past the colored money. I think that's the last thing we heard.
I do want to
Tell us a
pause
little bit
really
about yourself.
fast
Yeah.
because I do
Short
have to
bio.
head out, Nate. I'm so
Okay.
sorry to interrupt. Thank you so much for having me on. Lovely to see you, Tamika,
Miriam,
as always.
Nice to
that's
see
okay.
you.
We want to
I can't
thank
wait
you,
to hear
Miriam, for
how
Thank
the
you,
rest
Mary,
taking
of
for
this
time and
goes.
taking
joining
time and
us.
and keep up the great work.
All right, so now you the star again, Mika.
So Mika, it's on you. Tell us about yourself. Tell the world about yourself.
And look at that smile.
And why you so your journey. Talk about your journey.
Um, well, as you said, my name is Tamika. I am 45 years old. I have two um sons and
Right,
two
right there,
grand.
wherever y'all doing, whoever.
Saying,
Say that again.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, I was saying I have
well,
two
we can hear you.
sons and two grandchildren. Um, and I was actually born with a disability, so I've had to depend on the government all of my life. So I think that's where my passion comes from because I know what this struggle is like to have to depend on something or someone to get you through from month to month, from day to day, from year to year, and you not knowing what's going to happen. And so when I joined the food bank, I was meek. I heard him say I was very meek. I was meek and mild. I didn't really want to say much. I didn't really want to. I just wanted to lay back in the cut and chill and just, wait until, if they asked me a question, yes, I would answer, but I wanted to just sit back. But fortunately enough, Mira came along and she started pushing my buttons and got me warmed up, and it made me feel comfortable with telling my story. I wasn't embarrassed. It was just that if you ask me, I will tell you. I'm not one to just offer information. So if you ask me, I'll tell you. But if you really don't ask me, then I'm not gonna really say much. But yes, that my passion is to let people know that just because you have a disability or things of that nature, you can still overcome. Like, you can still figure out ways to do things the right way. You can basically, if you got to have your faith, and if your faith not built up, then you might be a little short.
Yeah, yeah, that's big. Now I don't know if all y'all can see, but she got a tremendous smile, man. She got that smile to light up a whole room. There it is right there.
See, one thing I understand, Mika, and this is something that I'm very passionate about, is the unity of those who are doing this labor of love. Because I call it labor of love. And we have to encourage and help each other, along this journey. Because we should be like they did with you. We should be discipleship in everybody.
That
The old
actually,
saying, I can feed you. I feed you.
I can
Yeah,
lead you
I
to
was
it, but
saying
I
I
can't
can
make
give
you
you a
drink it.
fish and feed you for a day. If I teach you how to fish,
It'd be a
yeah,
lifetime.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, that's another one too. But
Yep.
I'm saying, like, if I'm willing to, yeah, if I'm willing, then we can make a bigger dent in it. But I like
Yeah.
what you guys are saying y'all doing, and basically that's what y'all doing. Is the same thing. Um, I speak every other week at a church now, with Pastor Q over at Word Movers Ministry. Shout out to them, right? And discipleship. We ain't in there playing church and just we try to disciple people so they can go out and be soul winners. So you doing the same thing, and that's what we do here, man. In the mirror, we're not just giving you this information for you guys to like
Sit on it.
See, right now we want everybody to come down to the food bank and bust the doors down,
Get involved.
to try to get involved. Yeah.
Now, Tamika, what
Yes.
was the last advocacy that you did? What was the last thing you did with
I
them?
did the hunger. I was on the hunger report, and then I did another event where we talked about trying to reinstate the increase that we had during COVID. The increase on the SNAP benefits
Tell
because
us
they
a little
took
bit
it
about that,
away.
because a lot of people don't know that we did.
For DC, they took it
Oh
after
yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us about that because I didn't hear about.
a lot of DC residents were increased it during COVID. And I think it was March was when they cut it off once um Biden said that the COVID was like the COVID hype was over and we were just living normally. They cut the increase
Hype.
out. Yeah, the hype of,
Yeah.
having the COVID was they said
I get.
no, we don't
Oh,
have to wear
Biden.
masks.
Pretty quick.
Yeah. We don't have we don't have to wear masks. We don't have to just
Hey,
get
I thought
yeah,
we
but the
out of
thing is,
danger now, basically.
Yeah.
that's what they saying, but I feel like we still in danger because with these food
So y'all should
increases,
have some money.
Go ahead, Tamika.
like $8 for some eggs is crazy to me. Like, no, we should not be paying $8 for no daggone eggs. I just feel like that's ridiculous. So we are the last thing I was involved in, we are basically trying to um keep it instated where the funds that we were getting during the COVID that they will stay. Basically we were like going around seeing in different areas, like the different wards, what was needed and what like the healthier food, because basically what they're trying to do is move the the SNAP benefits that so that we can get more healthier options without spending everything in one lump sum. So they're trying to make it so that we can get more healthier options, because believe it or not, if you're trying to stretch what you get um for COVID, excuse me, if you're trying to stretch your food, your SNAP benefits, the less healthier options are the way to go. So they're trying to make it so that we can get organic and more healthier options so that we don't have to feel like we are left to eat at the bottom of the barrel because we trying to stretch from month to month on where to go and what to do, and if we gonna have something by the end of the month.
Well, I applaud you and Mir and you guys. You know, this is example of doing something. You know, not just barbershop talk. And that's the kind of substance we want to bring to everyone. We want to get out there and get involved. Stop talking about the problem.
Getting the solution.
Getting the solution.
But you know, one thing that I'm glad Tamika brought up is it's not so much to increase the dollar amount of SNAP,
Right.
but the change what the benefits can purchase.
Right.
Right. Because what happens is if I gotta, and it's institutionally racism.
Yeah, we already
You
know
know,
what it is.
that's the elephant in the room.
That's that barbershop talk.
So
We talking about solutions
so
like y'all
no,
talking about. What y'all
so
doing?
Let me
Yeah.
tell you, but what she's saying about is, you know, trying to get the healthy options included.
Right.
Right. So just
So
like if you get WIC,
Right, exactly.
you get a what you
Right.
can't buy.
Yeah, we trying to change that narrative.
Yeah.
That's I get it.
So for the SNAP benefits, if I only gave you $25 for the month,
You know how
Can't
to get
get
the stuff that just got artificial.
everything,
Yeah,
everything. But-
yes.
yeah. You want? Yeah, that's
That's healthy for
Hey,
25.
hey, Mika, that's wonderful. That's a wonderful aim, right? And that's playing chess.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Because we look at the amount of money and
right.
not look at the quality.
Exactly.
And that's what you talking about. You're talking about getting the quality for your buck.
That's
And
why they're trying to
the
increase
Healthy.
the
quantity
cost.
and the quantity. Can I get?
Yeah, that's why they're trying to increase the cost
Yeah,
so that we can feel comfortable. We can go to an organic supermarket if we want to and shop and say and don't have to say how many items is
right.
this? 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's all I could get. And then your SNAP benefits are gone for the month.
Right.
For the whole month.
Yeah, I get it.
Ain't
I
no
get it.
For the
replenishment.
whole month.
Right. So I
Yeah.
get it, and that's a word. I want the viewers. I want the viewers. I like to break things down to layman terms. I want the viewers to understand what their mission is also consistent of to get more for your buck, healthy though, not just to get a whole lot of stuff and it's all
Yes.
garbage.
Garbage.
Right. We want to get healthy. We want to get healthy and still not be food
Insecure.
insecure.
Now here's the kicker. What we said earlier about how food insecurity leaks into every other area of your life.
Oh yeah.
So if you think about income disparity, right? The less money you get, you're gonna get these SNAP benefits. Then you turn around and you get unhealthy food, so you're gonna now increase your ability to become ill and
Yeah.
not recover
Right.
because your body is not in a good healthy condition
Right.
because you ain't been nourishing it with the right food.
Right.
Yep.
So now you more sickly, right? Now you spending more time at the doctors, less time at work, which means you making less money,
Let-
which
let-
in turn makes you even more food.
let me ask you guys something. When I was a kid, most everybody I knew in the neighborhoods, even sometimes in the projects, has gardens.
Yeah.
One of my grandmothers lived in the projects in Alexandria. My other grandmother lived out Arlington. She had a house. Both of them had gardens.
Had gardens.
At one time or another, they had a garden. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, for like the vegetables and stuff like that, we were getting them naturally, even back then, right? And now you don't see the grandmas with a garden. You don't see it.
Well, here's the thing.
Because the
We are so
grandmothers are
removed
getting
from our agricultural base socially.
But,
They too old to be out there in the
No.
garden.
nah,
And
they
now-
was old.
Hold on. Our grandma then were our age now. The age we are now.
But the grandmas are younger now.
No, I'm
That's
saying
what I
when
that's
they was
what
I'm
our
saying.
grandmother,
Right.
when she was your 12 years old, they was our age we are now.
I understand,
Yeah.
Nate, but these grandmas are younger.
They are
The
younger.
grandmas have got younger now on the average.
Yes.
And
But
they're
that-
disconnected from the agricultural base. Back then,
Exactly.
We're
they
not
were
teaching
one,
it.
but they were one or two.
But we're not teaching it. So that's the point I was getting ready to make.
Yeah.
Like, I don't believe in that was then and this is now. It's what you teach.
Correct.
It's nobody's teaching it. Nobody's trying to garden or nothing. Nobody's trying to even attempt to show them
Or even put time in their life to
Yeah.
God.
to God. Yeah.
Because
But
as time evolves, society does a shift, right?
But
And
but we can do something about it. Like you guys
you,
doing
you
something
gotta
about
do it.
you guys are doing something about the food distribution, right?
Mhm.
And this is another disparity that you was talking about, Nate.
Yeah.
Because
But the thing-
if we go back to some basic stuff, it still works. Go ahead, Meek.
But the thing of it is too is that the mothers are getting the grandmothers are younger and the mothers are younger, so none of them have that mentality that our grandmother have. I was raised by my grandparents. I was raised by my grandmother and my grandfather. My grandmother will be 90 on December the 10th, and my grandmother is moving and still doing what she
I
wants to
bet.
do. Exactly. So we don't have
Right.
any of that type of generation anymore. All they want to do is be in the club, out in the
Now,
street, doing what they want to do. They have to be
why do you
teachable
think that is so? No, but why do
be-
you think that they're not even teachable?
because parents want to do what parents want to do, and parents don't have time to sit down and teach the morals and values that we were taught. They don't want to do that. It's
And
up
guess
to
what? And guess what? The morals and values we was taught, them the same ones don't want to teach them. The same people who was taught the morals and values, they feel like now that's for them. That was
they
just for
say
their generation being
exactly.
taught it.
They say
They don't want to
it's a
teach it
different
to
I say the kids get too many
yeah.
options. We didn't get
And
options.
guess but guess who's doing it? That's the point I'm making. It's us.
Exactly.
It's us.
Exactly.
It ain't
E-
listen, it's us. When stuff
Exactly.
yeah, it's nobody else can try to fight on our doorstep.
But let's be honest and add some nuances to that, right? So we all now live in a double income economy. Well, most people, if they making it, trying to make, you talking about the cost of food and stuff like that, they running 1.5 or 2 jobs, right? If they not getting any help from somebody somewhere. So that means that most of my day is spent working, right? So I don't have the leisure time that my grandparents had because they were living in a different time, not just a different social time, but a different economic time. Back then, 8 hours was 8 hours. Now, 8 hours is a 12, 14-hour day for a lot of households.
Yeah.
So whether or not I got the skills to know how to do it, I don't have the time.
And but you know,
You
you
know.
say that, Nate, like we sitting here right now.
But those
right?
are just things that happen.
Okay, but we sitting
right?
here right now doing the podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
We got time. I mean, because if I keep it, we you know,
But we ain't gonna be out there in the dark doing it.
no, I understand that. I understand that. But it's times where we watching them games. It's time.
No,
where
but that's the
we're watching
individual thing. But what
the
I'm saying,
stories.
but you cannot disregard.
We just ain't doing it.
But you can't disregard the changes in the climate.
No,
that
I
we live in.
understand.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't even make the effort. Like and
That's
it's
not
not
true.
just the food.
I disagree
It's
with
other
them making the
things.
effort. I disagree with making the effort.
I'm talking
I
about
think
when I say we. I'm talking about on a scale. I ain't talking about you or me. I'm talking about on a scale. And we
But see,
we
when you talk about a scale of a large number, you got to talk about society as a whole, right?
yeah.
So,
exactly.
like I was saying, the climate is different. So it's not. It's the climate. So the effort is put in different places.
Okay.
It's not just playground, right? So
Exactly.
if I'm in a situation where things are more expensive, I got to work more to get it, right?
Okay.
Which means I got to take that time from somewhere. Now, if I'm gardening today, it's a weekend schedule, right? Or when can I get to it? It's not like our parents had back in the day when a dozen of eggs cost 50 cents.
Okay, and we do you agree? Do you both of you guys agree? Because you do have the food bank, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So do you still say it's definitely an issue about food insecurity?
Oh, without a doubt.
Okay, so that being said, just like Mika said, when we sat at the table, we had to eat what we what was there. Why that ain't no good no more?
Because that's still good, but what is there is
I'm telling you from experience, I watch
right?
it on a regular basis, Nate. The kids say, I don't like that. I don't eat that.
But we said that too, but we got whopped upside the head.
But
that's the thing.
It's turned out pretty good, Nate.
Yeah, I understand.
But that's the thing. That's the thing.
But
you can hit your child
a whole
upside
different
the head.
culture.
Exactly. You
it's
can
a whole
hit your
different
child
I say hit
upside
them.
the head. No, but I'm saying
I ain't say hit them. I said, but being the parent,
But
If
we
I
can
say,
bop
man,
them up.
look, that's all you got, man.
That's all you got. Go hungry.
But that's the thing. You could bop them upside the head back then, and everything would be good. You bop them upside the head now, they could call 911. Now they got child. If you hit your child, you could go to jail. They took prayer out of school, so they stripping away all of the blankets that we had to teach our children. I remember having to stand in the corner in school.
I'm talking about the food. I'm
When you
standing
going
on
back
course
to
about food insecurity. Yeah, but I'm talking
But
about
that's
food
what I'm
insecurity
saying. So
though.
you can't
Because
you
I'm not
can't
going away
bop 'em-
from what we're
you
talking about.
can't bop. But what I'm saying is you can't bop them upside the head now and tell them to eat it. Now we got DoorDash. We ain't have all that back then. We had the right to say we didn't want it, but if
But
that was all we was gonna get. So either you eat it or you go to bed hungry, one or the other. Nowadays, kids can go to school and say they ain't get nothing to eat, and they ain't gonna say why they didn't get nothing to eat. They
what's wrong?
just gonna say they ain't get nothing to eat.
Listen, they can say that if you fed them. They can say that if you fed them.
But see, here's the thing. Here's the thing about food insecurity. Let's bring it back a little.
Yeah.
Right. The times dictate the times. Right.
Exactly.
What's going on today dictate what's happening today. And when you talk about food insecurity, it's always income based. There's income disparity, which ties into the availability of funding for food, which ties into the quality of food, which ties into your health or lack thereof your health,
Mhm.
which turns you into a non-workable individual who cannot get the income to get the type of quality food to keep you healthy. So what happens with food insecurity is I may have food in my refrigerator, my kids might not like it or whatever, but they hungry enough, they will eat it. But here's the thing.
But here's the thing. But
wait a minute, but here's the thing though. There are incidents where there is nothing in the refrigerator.
I understand that part.
Right.
I wouldn't
So,
talk about that at
But
all.
that's where the food insecurity is. And when we talk about things like gardening and stuff like that, those are great ideas to kind of curb some of that food insecurity. But at the rate of inflation, cost, and the way we live today, time management, and the way that we have to work hard,
It'll be a little harder.
It's harder than what it was back
I
then.
get it. I
right?
get it.
So food insecurity is really tied into a cultural drive. It's really tied into our own personal values. It's out.
On this platform, I want to say things that a lot of the guests are thinking, right? So a lot of times I'll throw out something because I know the guests, because from my experiences, these things that we're talking about, people saying it, they just don't want to be the one to be the bad guy and say, you know, just badass kids and shit. And a lot of the food wasting.
Yes, true.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that's a whole,
that's a whole nother different ball game.
Whole different can of worms.
But I do think
But
we talk
if
about
you're struggling
we
to
go
feed, like my.
I do think that it needs to be explained.
Right.
But see, it's all about when you're talking about raising your family and food insecurity, it always goes back to the value of the parents.
Nate, let me ask you this. You had a big family, right?
Very big family.
Okay. And you guys stayed in the house together with a big family, right?
I raised a very big family.
Okay. Yeah, and you also raised a very big family. I can look. My grandmother had 8 kids. Her sister had 9. I mean, my grandma had 9. Her sister had 8. My aunt in Eastgate, she had 9 kids, right? And I seen them manage it because, it was food disparity, food insecurity. It was definitely food insecurity. But I seen them manage it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I want you to hear what you said, right? You named all those family amounts. Then you said where they lived at.
Yeah.
They lived in public housing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, my aunt had a house down on the south side where your people,
right.
your
but the point that I'm
stayed.
making is, as time goes on every assistance is tied to every assistance, right? So like with the SNAP benefits, right? The SNAP benefits are fairly funded benefit for those in need of food assistance, right? So what happens is those in need of food is significantly for assistance are also needed for financial help. They needed housing help, things of that nature. But we gentrify, we take away housing, we displace them, we put them in a situation where the housing is more expensive.
Yeah.
So sometimes food insecurity is I got to make a choice. Do I pay rent
Or get some food.
or get some food? Or
I get
do I buy my medicine? Like you know, Tamika, do I get my
Yes.
medicine
or get some food.
or get some food? Or because the price of my medicine went up,
Yep.
I used to get 2 boxes of cereal, and it's 1. So, little Jimmy, you can't get a whole bowl of Captain Crunch this morning. It's Cheerios now. You dig what I'm saying?
And that we basically
cereal
saying the
$5
same
a
thing,
box.
right? You're talking about.
I'm talking about the type of food.
No, I understand, but little Jimmy, and I go back to my point I was making. I was saying, little Jimmy, I don't eat that. I don't want that.
But that's not the point that we on.
But I'm just saying, in a lot of cases now,
Mhm.
you're talking about how we living now. I see it. I'm not talking about
Yeah,
somebody.
but that's not food insecurity.
But what happens is these people still kind of struggling. You understand what I'm saying?
I get that. I get that. But
But
we talking about before it get to the house,
Yeah.
before it get to the place where a kid can make a decision to eat or not eat.
the
We
kids are
talking about
making
not having
grown-up
the development.
decisions now, and it's like they're not being parented.
We got that.
On
But
that,
that's
and a
but
lot
that's
of
not food insecurity.
But no, it's a lot of food insecurity in these homes.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that's not a contributing factor to food insecurity.
That's
That's
why
some
I
other
feel
stuff,
like
right?
that's why I
So
feel like
Hold on,
it
she said
needs to
something.
be I feel like it needs to be explained because people have different definitions for food insecurities. Before I went to the food bank, when you thought about food insecurity, you always thought about them little kids that be on the TV looking like they ain't ate in about 5 years. But it's not about that. So a lot of people
that's what we
get
said.
food
Yeah,
exactly.
Get it mixed up
Exactly.
with absolute hunger.
well, I want you to know that I absolutely understand. We're not talking about the fly people, the
Yeah.
people with the flies on them.
No, but I'm saying that's
I've been
why
in food
Secure.
insecure. I can hear you. We
no,
can hear you, Mickey.
I was saying that's why it needs to be
Okay,
explained to our culture.
Right.
I agree. I agree.
Well, see, here's the
Because
thing about our culture. We have been backed into so many corners. We have been backed into so many corners in regards to our social acceptability.
I understand.
That things like mental health took a long time before it came out the closet.
Right.
Everybody had an Uncle Jimmy that sat there and watched a blank TV.
Yeah.
You know, or sat on the porch
That's
talk to
just the way
himself.
he is.
That's just how he is. Don't just take him a plate at the end. At the end of Thanksgiving, just make sure Uncle Jimmy get his plate. You know what I'm saying? You know,
Jimmy.
yeah. But you know, so when we look at our taboos, like men don't go to doctors until it's an emergency because they don't do maintenance.
Right.
All of these things came from our accountability to one's availability to work. Right. So when we talk about food insecurity, people want to stand behind hunger to say, I ain't food insecure, I ain't hungry. But food insecurity is simply when you are not sure where that meal gonna come from. You're insecure about the availability of food to you and yours. That's food insecurity. It happens, it's a part of hunger. But if you think about it like anger, people think anger is rage. No, anger starts when you're irritated. That's the first stage of anger. Food insecurity is the first stage of hunger.
Okay.
Right. So that's really the explanation.
So we're getting a lot of information about food insecurity on this platform today, and we thank you guys for coming by, Mika, you and Mia.
Mira.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's
Thank you
some
for
good
having me.
information. And only thing, yeah, and only thing that you got different angles of questioning,
Mhm.
you know, and that's what where I represent, you know, as doing what I do. Doing what I do is trying to get the understanding out there. You know, that's why
Mhm.
she said to explain.
Yeah.
That's perfectly. That's exactly what we need. We need
Well-
to for people to get some understanding.
Now, because we are solution based on Man in the Mirror,
Exactly.
I want to encourage everyone that's listening that will watch this to know that it's okay to be insecure about food, but it's
Yep.
not okay to ignore it.
Yes.
There are resources out there that don't, you know, see, one thing I liked about COVID, and I use that term light, and I'm gonna mean it,
Yeah.
because COVID was a bad experience for everybody. But one thing COVID did, it lifted the veil of embarrassment from people getting in
Yes.
line to get help with food.
Yeah.
Yes.
COVID, you pulled up in the car to a church, they gave you box
Yeah.
and so forth and so on. But so
Yep.
those same places exist still today.
Yeah.
They don't have the resources that they had because they was really being pushed then.
Right.
But I'm going to encourage everybody within my voice to know that it's okay to be food insecure. It's just not okay to sit in it, right? And there are places like the Capital Area Food Bank and their network partners that are out there to assist you. You don't have to be dreadfully hungry. Your cupboard
No.
don't have to be bare to seek help. Your
Right.
refrigerator don't have to be empty.
Burn.
All you got to know is, and I don't want you to go out there and be a glutton either. Don't go out there
Nope.
and hoard food
Say
that can
something
help
to
somebody else. But what I'm saying to you is, it's a good idea to know. This is something I want everybody to kind of think about. Know in your region, in your walk, in your distance from your home, where food distribution happens, because you never know. The man that got fired today, he didn't go to work yesterday and say, I'm gonna get fired tomorrow.
No, anything happens.
Anything
Exactly.
can happen.
And,
So to know where your resources are before you need them
and there's
is
no
important.
more excuses, guys,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
like shows that are solution based, like Man in the Mirror, and you got Google.
Yeah, you can find them.
You can find it. There's no more excuses. We got Google. Google can Google anything. You just tell Google what you're looking for.
Well, not only that, you know,
Well, it might be
You-
a resource
yeah,
to get hook you up
yeah,
with a
yeah,
resource.
right.
You
But
know,
if
I know
you-
Catholic Charities comes
Yes,
up
sir.
on
All
if
the
you
time.
Google. It'll come up because I deal with Catholic Charity for years.
But here's the thing: if you pay attention to yourself, to your family, to your needs, you'll find that you have some. We all do. If you live in
Mhm.
America, you got a need. Nobody's making
Mhm.
a need 100, right? But don't allow petty fear and small embarrassment of what somebody might
Pride.
think of you, pride,
Yeah.
all those things keep you from getting the help that you and your family so desperately may be needing or may be on the road to needing. And don't allow your pride not to get you out there and help somebody else.
Yeah, just like on that note, we talked about before you came here, Nate mentioned other variables that leads to food insecurity, right? We talked about
Mhm.
mental health, we talked about
Employment,
Employment.
crime.
crime, poverty,
Mhm.
and we talked about those variables, right? But also know that there's help in those areas.
Yeah,
Yeah, the food
Because
bank also
all
helps
those-
with that.
they are connected.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell
And the
you,
food-
it's just like if you're an addict, if you're an addict,
Don't forget that one.
all that clean stuff that you hear about ain't gonna work for you until you stop using,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If you are food insecure, all the things that are attached to hunger are not gonna get resolved if you're not eating. A
Mhm.
kid can't study
You can't
if they
focus.
hungry. They can't focus. You can't go
Uh-uh.
to work and focus if you hungry. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I'm gonna tell you one thing that hunger does, it changes your it changes your taste buds. Hunger will change your taste buds. You went from caviar, you understand, to bacon. If you're hungry,
The Ooza Noodle.
okay,
Yeah.
hunger. Well, see, that's another thing. SNAP benefits, folks on SNAP benefits will eat the hell out of some Ooza noodles,
Yep.
but we want
They
them to be able to
stretch.
go get some ragu.
Right. I get
Exactly.
You know
I
what I'm
get it.
saying? We want them to be able to go get some.
And I
some
want that
other noodles. You know what I'm
to
saying?
re-emphasize that that's what we were talking about
Yeah.
when she was mentioning it.
Yeah.
And that's the goal. The
Yeah.
goal is to get better
I had to
quality
do something.
and quality at the same time.
Now let me tell you something. Yeah, food insecurity is to resolve food insecurity. It takes a group effort.
Yeah.
Right. Just like anything in America is power in numbers.
Yeah, yes it is.
We all can talk about potholes and trash not getting picked up and this neighbor ain't doing this or that with the grass. But how about
Accountability.
we talk to our public officials about what we all need to live off of, which is food. Talk to them about sustaining that COVID increase in the SNAP benefit, right? Talk to them about making accessible quality food for everyone. It
Right.
shouldn't be just the rich that can get organic vegetables.
That's right.
You understand? It should not be just schools in good areas that get the good breakfast and school lunches.
That's right.
Because that might be the only
Well,
meal
that
that
we
those
ain't did a
kids
bell
get.
ringer. That's a bell
Yeah.
ringer right there
Yeah.
because we talking about, man, it's good for you, it's good for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we got to stop complaining to each other and
do
complain to
something.
those folks who can make a change. That's what advocacy is
And
about.
be part of the change.
Yeah.
Get out there and do something with what Nate didn't tell me about yeah, we ain't gonna talk about it. Well, because I love being of service, maximum service.
Here's
to-
the thing. I
to,
think we
my
lost
fellow-
Tamika, but Tamika, thank you so very much for joining us.
Yes, we want to thank
Mira, thank you for joining
Tamika and
us.
Mary.
If anybody want to call in, we at 301-761-1040.
We call in right now. What's that
301.
number again, Nate?
301-761-1040. We're talking about food insecurity. We've all had it. I mean, even the richest of rich. Myself, I've had food insecurity at the best of times. I'll give you a quick story. I was making, well over six figures at one point, right? And had a lovely wife and big old house, a lot of cars and great children. But the marriage fell apart. And I found myself being a single father. Now, we had money, we had food, we had all of that, but I was not sure how I was going to sustain it. I was insecure about how I was going to feed those 6 kids. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not always the pocketbook, it's sometimes the mentality. Because insecurity is a feeling.
It's definitely the mentality.
You dig what I'm saying? So don't think because you're not poor or you're not taking a bite financially
That you
that
don't
you're
deal
not
with.
secure.
Let me say this, and we addressed the elephant in the room. And I only talk about my experience. My experiences is when I put my hand in God's stuff. Mostly, I'm not managing my life right, and that leads to a lot of insecurities in different areas.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah, and so not just talking about you because I can identify it. Being God conscious and consequential thinking, man, it helped me a lot.
Without a doubt. It's supposed to.
Yeah,
That's what it's
because
designed to
I
do.
want a better balance, right? Man, I know a lot of people make more money than me now, but they try to live above their means and stuff like that.
And that could cause food insecurity.
Exactly.
Or, it's not always financial. Sometimes it could be emotional.
Yeah.
Because some people eat to their feelings.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? That's food insecurity.
Food insecurity.
You know what I'm saying? But we got to understand something to be
Well,
be
about
totally
false
honest.
balance, a false balance.
We
That's
got
what
to
I'm
be
talking
totally
about.
honest that we cannot live without food.
Oh no, without a
It
doubt.
is the gas for this engine to burn.
You gotta have some.
You got to have some.
Yeah.
So, you know, as strong as we may or may not be in our economic walk, we need to understand where to eat at,
Yeah.
where the food coming from. If I don't have it, I got to have the wherewithal to find out where it is.
So look right in that camera, Nate, and tell Teresa Jones.
Where's my steak, Teresa? That's all I want to know. Teresa Jones, Boo Jones' wife. I'm feeling real food insecure about that steak that you supposed to be giving me for about 6 months now. I ain't gonna say no names,
6
Teresa
months.
Jones.
You sure?
It's man almost a year.
It been past a year.
Been past a year. See, I was trying to give 2 years now. She done built the cut.
We was working
She,
that.
she
we
done
was working
raised
that.
a cow to a calf to a cow by now.
Right.
Made some shoes out of his skins. And still ain't gave me the steak.
the steak pot.
Man, what? Well, how many times you ate steak, man? Since you probably give me the steak. But that's a whole nother story. But I want to say this to you out there, family. 301-761-1040 is where we are. We're talking about food insecurity. But I want to give y'all a little background, right? Everybody has food insecurity
At one point.
at one point or another.
Yeah.
And that don't mean that you poor. It's not embarrassing. It's just that you're unsure
With the next
100%
Yeah.
where that food coming from.
Yeah.
You can have a whole freezer full of food, right? And know that that's a month's worth.
And still feel insecure.
And still
about-
feel insecure about the
when that-
following
when
month.
that run
When that
out,
run out,
what
how
I'ma
I'm going to
do?
replenish it.
Yeah.
That's food insecurity. It's
Yeah.
just at different levels, right? So we need to understand that food insecurity ain't always poor, hungry folk. It just, you're not sure.
So what about this, Nate? We talking about solution based. Do the next right thing and trust God.
You trust God, but God says, prayer without work,
I said do
do
the
do
next
first.
Yeah, do
Yeah.
the next right thing
Mhm.
and trust God.
Yeah, put the feet down on the pavement,
Yeah.
do some work.
And sometimes the work is reaching out for help.
Yeah,
That's doing something.
and helping when you can,
Yeah.
because
But if you're in that need right then,
yeah,
don't be like you said earlier, re-emphasize, reach out for help.
yeah,
There's a lot of places like the food bank
mhm.
that's out there, yeah, and Catholic Charities and other,
Nonprofits.
let me Keep It Moving Ministries. John and Pastor Rochelle, they do a lot of outreach with food. Pastor John does a lot out in the community in DC. We're giving away food. He was
Mhm.
just on Facebook the other day, and they was somewhere off of Alabama Avenue, and they was giving out food. And it was telling guys.
Now, I'm gonna tell you, this is the best time of the year. This is the giving season. Thanksgiving. Understand what that word means? Being thankful enough to give. So there's a lot of food drives going on. If you can't contribute, please do. Perishable goods, non-perishable, whatever you can't contribute, please do. There's a lot of us out here that are insecure about where we're gonna get our next meal. And if you're in need or think you may be in need in the future, in every corner of this region, in every corner of America, there's help,
Yes.
right? And it's not far away. And most of it is done behind the veil of secrecy. You ain't gotta worry about your feelings and anybody knowing your business and all that type of insignificant stuff.
Yeah, they ain't
Go
gonna-
get
They ain't
your
gonna
belly
put you on
food.
social media
Yeah,
because
go
you
get
got
your
the
belly
food.
food, feed them kids, feed your spouse, feed yourself,
Feed your spirit.
feed your spirit. But I'm gonna tell you, man, like Bob Marley said, man, a hungry man is an angry man.
Yeah.
You know, and it's really hard, like driving a car. You can't drive a car, ain't no gas in it. It's going nowhere.
You ain't going too far.
Yeah. And the same with your stomach, man. If you ain't feeding your body some nourishment, eventually it's gonna break down.
I tell you one of the things, I take no credit for anything I know. Either I experienced it or God dropped it in my spirit. And one thing he dropped, Nate, you said it about the giving. He said the gift is in the giving.
Yeah, it's in the giving.
The gift is in the giving. And if you're able to give, you already blessed.
Man, look, I told my daughter the other day, I have a 15-year-old daughter. She's a fashionista. She like her dad and her mom. We clothes horse. A clothes horse, for those who don't know, is somebody who wears fashion very well and often, right? I had to tell my daughter, you got 50 pair of jeans. 50. How many times you wear jeans in a month? You can't wear them but 30, 31. So you got 20 more pair of jeans than you need. There's
Well-
20 folks out there that look for a pair of jeans right now. Give them up.
Yeah.
And she's like, Dad, but I like them. You know what I told her? I said, you can't get in there another pair until you get rid of those. Because what we're not going to do is take our blessings and turn them into a messing because we're hoarding. When God
Let's
blesses
stop talking
you,
about me, Nate.
when God blesses you,
I-
He blesses you to be a blessing.
I give them away, but then I accumulate.
Go get 3-4 more.
Yeah, I accumulate too
But that's
much.
the blessing, though.
Yeah,
But see, when you make room, you'll fill that void up.
yeah, it will.
But if you hold on to it,
And
He gonna slow that thing
if
down.
If your hand like this,
Yeah,
you can't receive nothing.
nothing,
Yeah,
nothing.
Yeah.
Closed fist can't get nothing.
can't get nothing.
Can't get nothing.
Closed mouth.
Can't get fed.
Yeah,
You dig what I'm saying? So that's what we're talking about, food insecurity. If you walking around here and you got the rumble and the gumbling in your gut, and you looking around like whose stomach was that, knowing it was yours, that mouth closed.
yeah,
You dig what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah.
Because I'm gonna tell you, man, prideful Joe like me, during COVID, at one point, you know, the job had slowed down. You remember what happened to me at the job we had?
Yeah.
I caught the COVID. They laid me off after a while because I've been out so long. So I had a little food insecurity. Even though I had a little bankroll and stuff, I knew it had to last me and mine for a substantial amount of time.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of try to manage that thing out, right? Then I had to look at the food budget and go, wow, we be spending too much on this, that, and the third. We got to adjust.
You talking about that
That's-
budgeting?
That's
Yeah,
food insecurity,
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
The mere fact that I had to look at the intake of food and how we were using it, I got a little jittery about it. I was insecure
Right.
about the food plan.
But I can say this, like I said, from experience, man. When you start managing, man, you kind of it's kind of like you ever heard the story of Joseph in Egypt. With Joseph, he was made in charge of managing the wheat because it was a drought in the
Mhm.
land, right? It was a drought, and so Egypt, they probably had the best agriculture and everything, right? And so he distributed out, and they helped the people, but he managed it, right? And they never ran out because, like you saying, man, if you foolishly managing, you might, like right now, you don't have too much food insecurity. Am I right? At this
No,
point.
you're wrong.
Oh, you might have a little.
I got food insecurity every day,
Okay, so let me ask you this, but I'm just saying,
but it's a different type.
different type. Okay,
It's a
let me
different
ask you
type.
this. Let me ask you this. From your experiences,
Mm-hmm.
have you learned a little better how to manage?
Yes, but my food insecurity is not a money piece, right? My food insecurity is type of food, when to get it, how to
Yeah.
cook it. Because see, if it was just me,
Yeah,
right, I'm gonna eat as I pick up. But I got 2 teenage girls that I'm responsible for, so I can't just go buy the T-bone no more. It might went from T-bone to Steakums.
right. I get it.
You
I
know what
get
I'm
it.
saying?
So, but still, is that not what I'm talking about?
No, you talk about management.
The management.
Right?
Like,
but-
but you're still eating, right?
But some days, I mean, depending on what their needs are, what my needs are, money might fall short before the end of the month get here.
Right.
And I might have to make some major adjustments. I might have to borrow,
Human
loan,
condition come up.
whatever.
Human condition come up.
Situations arise that I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, I ain't look for that one.
Right.
Curveball came in, flat tire, car
Yeah,
accident,
Anything.
anything can hit you. You dig what I'm saying? Because I'm living at my means, not above them, but at them,
Yeah.
right? So you get to a point where food insecurity can be challenged from other areas,
Right.
right? You can manage the hell out of yourself and still be challenged, right? Now, my daughters know, they ask me all the time because they laugh at my answer. They always say, Dad, what's for dinner? And I tell them the same thing my mom used to tell me. Food.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, that's what you got.
Yeah.
See, I don't come from a house where I don't like that, I ain't eating that.
Yeah.
I wasn't raised like that. I
Well,
ain't raised
well, that's
mine
what we
like
talked
that.
about earlier.
Yeah.
You
But
know,
what I'm saying is, but the insecurity comes in with, like, I'm allergic to seafood,
right.
but they love it. When they live with their moms, they got a lot of it.
Right.
I can't deprive them because I'm allergic. So I got to go to the store and buy some fish. I got to learn how to cook it so I don't get sick. So I'm in there with,
So you don't mess with fish and none of that.
I'm in there with surgical gear on,
Right. Because
plastic
you're
gloves,
trying to.
a mask on my face because I'm frying fish for my daughter.
Yeah.
Because I love them that way. You dig what I'm saying? To make sure that they
I
get
get
a
it.
wholesome meal.
I get it.
But those are the types of sacrifice that I got to make. But at the same time, you know, being a single dad, in the process of management, some insecurity set in. Am I going to be able to make it to the end of the month with this type of income for the food, along with paying these other bills?
So,
and things?
so this is actually this. So on a faith base, you know, you said faith without works is dead. You
Mhm.
understand that. But if you're doing your due diligence, then the faith should be there also.
The faith is there, but that don't mean that you don't get insecure.
Because insecurity kind of like could be a lack of believing, right?
Nah,
Oh,
man.
oh.
No. Insecurity is just an existing, it's an existence that you find yourself in, right? And a lot of people want to say, well, how can you be insecure if you got faith? If I didn't
gotta say
have
that.
faith,
Yeah.
I couldn't be insecure.
Okay, that's your
It's like,
take on it.
You can't love if you never experience hate. You can't hate if you never experience love.
So you saying you can identify it because you have it. That you can identify love because you,
Because I've seen it, I've experienced it.
and on the other
So
side,
I know
hate.
that it's some other side is hate.
Yeah.
Right. So if I got faith, like I got big faith, I could pray all day. I can go to church all day. I
And
can work all
don't
day.
Don't
Hold
listen.
on.
Okay,
I can work all day. I can do my due diligence.
Right.
But at some point, I can still question the ability to go through or carry out. You know what I'm saying? Because that's human nature.
Yeah,
That
okay.
makes us human.
Okay.
Right.
I get
So, but that feeling is the insecurity.
you. Okay.
Right.
All right.
Yeah. So it's the existence of that. So when we talk about food insecurity, we're not just talking about the inability to feed yourself or find food. It's sometimes the thought process that you go through regarding food. And when the answers come negative, you get more and more insecure, right? And that insecurity, like in most other things, every action has a reaction, right? So the more and more I get insecure about something, the more agitated I get, the more and more I take other type of uncalculated chances to resolve that insecurity.
So let me ask you
That could
this.
put me in the jackpot.
So you saying that regardless of whatever you do in the solution area, you still can feel insecure
You still can feel insecure.
when it comes to food.
You can put it to you like this. Look at a relationship. You can be sitting there with the love of your life. Everything's fine.
So that's
Right.
a personal thing then, ain't it?
But let me give you an example. Everything could be fine in your household, right?
And then you insecure.
And then all
So
of a
that's
sudden,
the
all of a sudden, the phone ring and they talking in a low voice to somebody you never heard.
So
about.
that's that. Let me ask
You
you
dig what I'm
something.
saying?
So that insecurity on that example, that's something to do with the individual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the food insecurity is something to do with your stomach and the individual. So it's kind of like you never going to be in a place where you're never insecure about something, right? But what you want to do is minimize the insecurity by doing the work to get the help during the insecurity so the insecurity doesn't manifest into something greater.
Okay.
Because way before you get hungry, you're insecure about food.
Now, myself, personal journey. For the last 22 and a half years, I haven't worried about where I'm going to get my next meal at. I haven't. And it might not be what I want to eat now. Like you said, it might not be what I want to eat. But I done went through stretches where I ate a whole lot of the hookups. I done did some hookups. But I ate. And so I just say I think some of it when it comes down to that is the mentality of the individual, right? Because like even
It's situational.
yeah, it's situational.
It's all situational.
So like I can say like what my mentality is, man, I'm blessed because I do know what it feel like to have that serious food insecurity too,
Mhm.
right? So I know I have experienced that, and so
But that
so I'm
keeps you
grateful.
that
So,
keeps you away from being insecure at a certain level.
yeah, I'm grateful though.
But I'll tell you this, because you've been through this. At times of unemployment, right?
I might didn't eat what I want to eat.
Hold on, let me finish. At times of unemployment, there had to be a thought. If you got a partner, like you got a wife, your wife gonna pick up some slack during your unemployment.
Yeah.
You know that.
Well, I had that too in place.
Right.
So
Well, let me finish. But everybody don't have that.
yeah.
You do
So
what
I
I'm
talk
saying?
about it's situational.
It's
that I can
situational
take
for
that.
sure.
That's why I'm just throwing out, my own personal experience. Because
But even with you at those times, you had some food insecurities, but they just weren't as deep.
right. They wasn't like I didn't know I was gonna eat.
Right.
Now
But
sometimes
sometimes
I
it's
done
like-
had those before.
Or
So,
you might, I ain't eating 3 meals a day. I'm just eating 2.
yeah, but guess what though? Because I have a mindset that I don't just live off food alone today. But I also live off the word that come out of the mouth of God too.
Yeah, but you can't live
But,
off that
but no,
alone either.
no, I understand.
Yeah.
I didn't say that. I said I
Right.
don't live off of that alone.
Correct.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So
I got you.
so I guess it's sometimes the individual, like you said, situational. The
But when we
individual.
talk about the physicality of food, and just
Now you talking about being
put-
deprived of
put
eating.
it to,
I've been there, and I
put
know you can't think straight and go to work and all
if
that.
you go back over your history,
Yeah,
when we was out there banging
sometimes you didn't eat.
for weeks
Yeah,
because you doing some other stuff,
yeah.
but you couldn't walk past the mirror and look and see the same dude that was standing there 3 weeks
There's
ago.
gonna be some disfiguration.
Some deterioration.
Yeah, but the point I'm making is that I think insecurity, the word insecurity, right, is a personal thing.
Well, it's all personal.
Yeah,
But the act of being insecure, right,
Yeah.
has driving forces, is what we're talking about.
oh yeah,
right?
oh yeah.
So to eliminate the severity of the insecurity, you need to know a few things.
Yeah.
Now, from a food insecure, because we live in America, which is a capitalist society,
Yeah.
where the price is gonna go up, inflation, all those things. Those things make you insecure, even though you might have, like she talked about the price of eggs, right? Now, I'm not a big egg eater, but the price of eggs is a great indicator that food price is going crazy.
right.
That can make me insecure because my paycheck didn't go up
Yeah.
when the price of food went up.
I get
Or-
it.
you know what I'm saying? So that's a feeling of insecurity that don't have nothing to do with my faith, right? But my faith can come around and say, "Don't worry as much."
Yeah,
You
and,
dig what I'm
and,
saying?
and I wanted to stress that like these are individual situations
Mhm.
because like even though we might have the same situation, our experiences are different.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? The way you might experience one way, that might not be the way I experienced it.
But when we talk about food
And then we
insecurity,
talk-
like we was talking about today,
Yeah, and then we talk
talking
about
on a more global scale.
yeah, and then we
Yeah.
talking about perceptions. Because like we all have our own way how we perceive things or stigmas. We got stigmas. Like we might take the fact that growing up that you had some food insecurities. I had some food insecurities in my home. But man, I never remember, not eating though.
because you weren't in a position to remember.
Yeah.
But I'm sure
Now
Yeah.
my mom might
Yeah.
have had some.
she had it. That's why she put
Yeah.
together that end of the month thing.
Yeah, she
That
found
was-
out solution.
That was food insecurity.
She had a solution though.
That was
Yeah.
it may have been a
I
solution.
understand
It
what
may
you're
have been a
saying. Yeah.
solution for the moment.
Because she the one got to deal with that.
Right.
Yeah.
You didn't, it wasn't your responsibility.
Yeah.
So, now that we're adults, one thing we need to understand about food insecurity from a global perspective is that the things that lead into us as a people being food insecure are sometimes seems like they're outside of our reach,
But it's
right?
not.
But it's not.
we
And
do
that's the
something.
whole point. We can do something about it.
within our perimeter.
So, like we talk about the cost of food. A lot of food gouging, price gouging is
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
Taking advantage of the times.
And then where
Of
your
inflation
location
and
and where
stuff
your
like that.
location at the quality did they send to your location?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that too. But when we talk about the economic status of the folks,
Yeah.
right? We tie it back to all these things, but we know that we pay taxes. We are a part of a constitutional society that says nobody should go hungry. We know we live in one of the richest countries in the world globally, where everybody should be able to eat.
Right.
But that's only true if everybody did their fair share.
Yeah.
We don't live in that environment, right? We don't live in an environment where everybody does their fair share.
But like you said, there's some other variables,
Right.
like the mental health, the substance abuse, the lack of
But those who
knowledge.
live with food insecurity every day are people like Tamika, myself, specifically people like Tamika, who has to have, because of her physical condition, assistance. She can't work.
Right.
She, wheelchair bound, the whole thing. You couldn't really tell.
Yeah.
Thing. But folks in those type of situations that have to have that assistance have to have it.
Yeah.
Right. Look at a veteran that got his legs blown off.
Yeah. He has to
You know what I'm
have
saying?
some assistance.
Got to have some assistance.
When we mentioned
coming from where we came from,
yeah.
we had to have some assistance to get to where we at.
Yeah, you definitely did.
You dig what I'm saying?
And that's
so,
what
but
we
what I'm
wanna-
saying, the point is,
we want to
yeah.
tell the viewers that about the help, because you're leading on to
that's
about
where I'm going. That's where I'm going.
Yeah.
So understand that you don't have to define yourself as needing help. You just need to know where it's at.
Right.
Right. Your help is in your local community, charitable organizations, your churches, where you go in the gym, your local, if you go to your local shopping center, whatever, there is help available for everyone. And if you're not a person who needs help, then you're a person who needs to be making a donation.
That's right. And that
You either one or the
yeah.
other.
you want
Ain't nobody in the middle.
right.
Either I need it or I'm in a position to help somebody.
Yeah.
Get in your
Ain't no gray
lane.
area.
Get in your lane, because that seats can switch at any time.
That's right.
You dig? Because like we said, it's situational.
Situation
You up today,
down them up.
down them all.
And I want to once again. He was talking about charitable things. Shout out to Pastor Q and Woody Woods over at the Madness Shop. They go to our church, and Sean and the 4 men that's been consistently pouring into this movement, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna get Nate out there one day, but we gotta connect with other people. Like we mentioned John, and we've been talking about the food bank. We gotta connect with each other, and we're gonna see you next month, y'all. We gotta wrap it up. Thank Nate for a great show.
Hey man, we doing what we do here on Man in the Mirror.
Bringing in some wonderful guests, and next month we're doing what we doing next month.
Oh
here.
man, we bringing back Man in the Mirror, co-chair, co-stars. We're gonna have a reunion party.
Little
We're gonna
feast.
fill it up, man. We're gonna do some Thanksgiving, some Christmas. We're gonna enjoy each other's company.
And we're gonna bring in some special host guests
Yeah.
that's gonna be interviewing us.
Okay.
We're gonna be the guests.
That'll work.
All of us talk to the guys. They said that's a good idea. We're gonna bring in some hosts, a couple hosts that's gonna interview all of us.
Yeah.
And we're gonna sit here and feast and fellowship.
That works.
Men.
That works.
And we're gonna get the mirror too. Bring the mirror in next
Yeah.
week. Bring the mirror in.
So same bad time, same bad station.
No, what day is gonna be?
It's gonna be on the
What day, sir? December
December
the
the
19th.
December the 19th, because of the Christmas holiday. We got to move it up a little bit.
December
So
19th
December the 19th, 7 o'clock, we be right here.
with the reunion
Come back to Man in the Mirror, the talk show that
matters.
amen. All right, good folk. We'll see you there. Peace.